Hey guys, I want to just welcome you to another hit conversation where you can actually come and listen and we can all just end up flowing together, being that we're all fighting to go in the same direction. And as you can see, my topic today is take the limits off of God. And as you can also probably hear in the background, I have Israel Houghton with the song No Limits, Enlarge My Territories. And basically, I believe that we're living in a time and a season where we want the limits to be taken off, that we want to see God, we want to see blessings happen, we want to be able to know that God, you still are standing with us, even when we don't feel you. And I definitely want to end up encouraging you guys because I know that sometimes in the haste of the darkness in this season, it's really, really hard to just be able to take the limits off, to be able to put our minds into a hope that we believe that is able to to sustain us. And I want to be able to give you just some words of encouragement because I know that it can be difficult. It can be hard. It can be, like, is God still there? Does he still exist? And, you know, does God really have a plan for me? And if he does, what is that plan? And how do I even seek it out? We live in such busy times. No one has time to really volunteer themselves to fall to their face, to give themselves to the Lord and be able to just be able to go, you know what, God, I'm giving you my all. We're so bombed down, bombarded with so many different things. And we just we just don't know. We just don't know if we hear from God. We live in a world where that the preaching isn't the full preaching. Some of it is very, very watered down. And you know, it has this way of making us feel good and making us feel like, oh my gosh, I got a good word from church. But then in reality, is it really making me be the person that I'm supposed to be? Is it really making me take my limits off and really focus on God? Is it really helping me to help other people to come to the truth and to the light of who Jesus is? Is it really helping me to grow more spiritually? Is it challenging me to want to get into my Bible, into my word every morning before I walk out my door? The enemy is so strategic in how he does everything, and it is absolutely crazy. So I definitely want to say I understand that it's hard to take the limits off. But if you hear the the words in the background of me speaking, and as Israel is singing, no limits, and he's just saying to enlarge my territory. And basically, where we are at mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physically, we are needing God to enlarge our territory. We are needing God to enlarge our mindset, to enlarge our thinking, to enlarge our spiritual growth, to enlarge our wealth, or basically to enlarge our wisdom to get wealth, to basically be able to enlarge us in areas that we can't even fathom, and not to be so distracted by the ways of this world. Romans chapter 12 tells us, verse 2, I believe, it says, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When we're so bombarded and we're so rush, and gotta go here, and there, we don't have time to even sit down with the word of the Lord and have it to transform our thinking. Like, it becomes so crazy. And the enemy is so strategic because he observes and he watches us and he sees our going in, not coming out. He sees, we got the children. He sees that it's the boss. So he literally starts looking at things to try to oppress us, to try to depress us, try to get us to conform to the way of the world, get us to not conform to the way of the Lord. But I'm here to tell you today, under the sound of my voice, that if you want anything to be different, if you want anything from God, you have to take the limits off of God. You have to not put him in a box. It may not look the way you want it to look. It may not feel the way you want it to feel. It may not be the way you want it to be. But you have to just fall under the Lord. Last night, my son and I, we actually watched a movie, and I love having movie times with him. And I only end up watching like children Christian music movies with him. I really try not to watch a lot of movies that is going to give us bad nightmares or invite spiritual things into our home. So I'm very, very mindful of what we watch. And last night we watched this particular movie with this young lady who played basketball, and that was all she knew, like, since she was a little girl. And then come to find out, she had a heart murmur, and it was said to her just as her last year of high school, before she was about to get enlisted into college. Like, all these colleges were wanting her. And come to find out, because of this heart murmur, she was no longer able to play basketball. So she was very, very, very angry with the Lord. Very, like, I prayed to God. The Bible says, you have not because you ask not. And I've asked God, and I guess I have not because God is not. And she was just that bitter. And a lot of times we all can be there. Believe me, I have had my days where I've just been like, God, I really, really wonder. And God somehow just shows up and he just turns a mess into a miracle. And in that, there was this young man that just kept popping up every now and then to her. And one of the things that he ended up saying is that sometimes you have to get to the edge of the cliff, and then you have faith. And either God will catch you, or God will teach you how to fly. But either or, it is a faith walk. And we do not know what every day persists of. We want to have control over our days, but when we take the limits off of God, we literally just give it all to God. So that's my encouragement for you today. Just be blessed. I love you. Hit like, hit subscribe, and please come back for more. Just enjoy and have a blessed rest of the day. Mwah.